This week in U.S. immigration news, we are going to cover USCIS extends green card validity, meeting of 19 Western Hemisphere nations discussing migration, an appeals court could end DACA, legal challenges follow DeSantis migrant flights, TPS for Burma extended, private refugee sponsorship program. Beginning September 26, USCIS is automatically extending the validity of permanent resident cards to 24 months for lawful permanent residents who file Form I-90 application to replace permanent resident card. The language in Form I-90 receipt notice has been updated to provide notice of the 24-month validity extension. The updated receipt notices with the new extension can be presented with an expired green card as evidence of continued status. The agency anticipates that this extension will help applicants who experience longer processing times because they will receive proof of lawful permanent resident status as they await their renewed green cards. The White House hosted a meeting with U.S. officials in over a dozen countries in the Western Hemisphere to discuss concerns over mass migration in the region. The meeting was to follow up on the agreements made during the Summit of the Americas in June, where the nations signed onto an agreement known as the Los Angeles Declaration. The declaration stated that governments are to work together to expand temporary worker programs, bolster legal pathways, provide support to countries hosting large migrant populations, and to have a crackdown on human smuggling networks. White House officials met with representatives from the 19 countries to discuss the implementation of the declaration and appoint special coordinators for each country. A federal appeals court is expected to soon rule on the future of deferred action for childhood arrivals. The program began during the Obama administration to provide undocumented children with protection from deportation and a work permit. The program has helped about 800,000 young people since it began. Current recipients can keep their status and renew it, but the program no longer takes new applicants. If the appeals court rules in favor of the lower court, which held that the program was created illegally, then protection for everyone under DACA could end and would be fully rescinded.
If you are new to our channel, welcome and please subscribe to stay in the loop. We offer free 15-minute consultations if your case is qualified, so we can point you in the right direction. Stay tuned for the secret code later in the show.
Florida Gov. Ron DeSantis recently sent 2 charter flights with about 50 Venezuelan migrants to Martha's Vineyard without providing proper notice to officials in the town and did not tell the migrants the flights would be taking them there. DeSantis has argued that the flights have protected Florida from negative ramifications of a border crossing surge. DeSantis is facing legal challenges such as an investigation by a Texas sheriff, who referred to the governor's migrant flights as a predatory operation. The migrants have filed a federal class action lawsuit alleging a premeditated, fraudulent, and illegal scheme. Lastly, DeSantis is facing a Democratic lawmaker's state lawsuit challenging the use of a $12 million migrant relocation fund. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro N. Mayorkas announced an extension of temporary protected status for Burma for an additional 18 months, from November 26, 2022 through May 25, 2024. The extension was announced due to extraordinary and temporary conditions in Burma that prevent people from safely returning to the country. DHS also announced a redesignation of Burma for TPS for the same reason, which will allow Burmese nationals residing in the U.S. as of September 25, 2022 to be eligible for TPS. Currently, Burma is experiencing continued violence and a humanitarian crisis due to a military coup, upheaval and security forces' brutal violence against civilians. This extension will allow for 970 current beneficiaries to retain TPS through May 25, 2024, as long as they meet TPS requirements. The Biden administration is planning to start a private refugee sponsorship program within the following months to help the refugee admissions in the United States. Private organizations and groups of everyday Americans will be able to sponsor and resettle refugees, similar to the programs the U.S. conducted for the resettlement of Afghan and Ukrainian refugees this past year. The program is expected to launch by the end of this calendar year. The private refugee sponsorship program will allow private citizens to identify refugees on their own and resettle them.
Friends, show us some love and smash the like button. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have an immigration problem or need a second opinion because you cannot get a hold of your own lawyer, schedule a meeting with our team. Share information with our CARES team and they will help you get scheduled with our legal team. Now here's a secret code to unlock the free 15 minutes.